Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of the Heart Hook Home Video Crochet Podcast series. This week we are going to be talking a little bit about top-down sweater construction for a very good reason. I have a brand new pattern, the color block sweater that I am modeling here today, and a solid version as well, that is debuting on January 3rd, 2022. So this pattern is the first pattern I am publishing in the year 2022, and I am very excited about this one. My testers are finishing up. The last one is weaving in her ends today. Absolutely gorgeous design. The sizing goes from extra small all the way up to 4XL, so most of us will be able to enjoy this beautiful sweater, and it's actually a pretty easy sweater to crochet as well. I do have a list of things that I want to make sure that I cover in this podcast today, talking about top-down sweater construction, sizing, future sizing that I'm going to have available as far as child sizes go, yarn choices, and all of that good stuff, right? So I am calling this the color block sweater because it has a color block, and I like the way that the yarn matches up on the sleeves to the body. I just think it's absolutely beautiful. So I decided to do a top-down sweater construction for this one because of the way that the top-down sweater construction works, right? So typically there are two ways that you can make a crocheted sweater. There's panels where you have a front and a back and you sew them together and then you add your sleeves, right? I have multiple sweaters that are constructed that way and they work out beautifully every time. The other way of crocheting sweaters is to start at the neck and work your way down. And those are called yolk sweaters. They're top-down yolk sweaters. This one starts at the neckline and we continue to grow it and grow it and grow it until it's big enough to both encompass one arm, our bust, and the other arm, right? And so when it's big enough for the size that you're making, which is my job, you just follow the pattern, get to where it pinches off on the underarms. So your armhole row, what I love about top-down sweaters is that once you get to where you're pinching off for your armholes here, you can try it on and make sure that the size is exactly good for you. So if you make this small and you try it on and you're thinking, I maybe should have made the medium, all you have to do is continue adding rows to the pattern. Or say you make the large and you're like, man, this is a little bit too roomy. I think I want it to be a little bit smaller. All you have to do is rip out a few rows to get back to where the medium is, and then just continue on. You don't have to frog the whole entire thing. You don't have to rip it all out and start completely over from scratch. That is the beauty of a top-down sweater. I absolutely love that about the yoke design. So what we're doing, like I said, we're starting at the neck. We're going until we have it big enough to where it fits both around both arms and the bust. We're pinching it off, and then we can crochet straight down on the body. Another thing that I love about top-down sweaters is that you can make this, if you wanted to, you can make this a crop top. I mean, I don't want to, but if you want to, you can. Or you can continue crocheting until you get it as long as you want it to be. Let me get up on my stool here. This is Catherine. She's my lovely model. She's named after Catherine Howard, which is the second beheaded wife of King Henry VIII, because obviously she has no head. So this is Catherine, in case you've never met her before. Let me get up on this stool here. So this is the color block sweater. What I love, as I said, about the top-down construction is that I could stop here if I wanted to. If I wanted to stop here, I could stop here. If I wanted to continue down and make it a whole dress, I could make it a whole entire dress. And I absolutely love that about the construction of these sweaters. So we've got this beautiful mix of colors. They line up so nicely. It's very flattering. I feel like this is just a very comfortable, flattering design. And you know, if you wanted to make it in 2 colors, or 4 colors, or 5 colors, or just 1 color like this green one here that I'll show you in a moment, that is perfectly fine. You would just not change the colors when I tell you to change the colors in the pattern. So I love that about this so much. Yarn choices. This is Brava worsted weight yarn. So we have Tide Pool, which is a lovely teal color. This one is the Paprika, which is actually more like a burnt orange. It's not very red. It's hard to photograph, I've noticed, for this pattern. This is just the regular white in Brava worsted. This one right here is Big Twist Value worsted weight yarn. So this is an economical yarn. This is actually between Christmas and New Year's this year, or most years, now that I'm thinking back on the past. This yarn goes on sale for like $1.99 a skein, and I only needed 3 skeins to make this entire sweater. So that is amazing. And I love that about this, right? So I could have done this one in 3 colors as well, but I really love, if you've watched any of my videos or if you know me at all, you know that I love the dark mustard color, like any of these right here, like these dark yellows right here. This is my jam right here. Dark yellows, like a goose turd green. I just love it. Those are the very earthy palette. That's what I typically go for, which is not exactly what I'm wearing here, which is kind of different, right? It's different for me, but I try to branch out, right? So I am a very earthy, mustardy, baby poop colored, I don't know, I just love it. I don't know, call me weird, whatever. I mean, it's true. You can do it because it's true. But any other yarns that would work well would be Lion Brand, Pound of Love, or Vanna's Choice, or Red Heart Super Saver, Red Heart with Love. Anything that is a worsted weight yarn should work up beautifully for this pattern. I do recommend doing the gauge swatch as with any pattern, especially wearables. I know that in a previous podcast we talked about gauge, and gauge is super important, especially with wearables, like when we're making blankets or baby blankets or, you know, washcloths or something like that. It doesn't matter if mine is an inch bigger than yours or whatever, but when you're talking about the bust measurements and arm measurements, those inches do matter, you know. So on the size medium, like I said here, just talking a little bit about sweater construction and sizing, if you were trying to branch out into, or if you were branching out to design patterns yourself, one website that you should totally check out is the Craft Yarn Council, and they have excellent sizing charts from infants, newborns, all the way up to 5XL in men and women. So you can look on there and see, you know, if you're making this for someone else, how big does the upper arm need to be? You know, so for this medium size, when I'm making this, I have to have 11 inches on this arm, 11 inches on this arm, and about 38 inches for the bust for the size medium. So that means I needed about 60 inches. Now, if it comes out, if my gauge is off just a little bit and I only have 58 inches, those 2 inches can make a big difference, because that means that it's smaller than the circumference of my arm and it's going to be skin tight, and that is not what I'm going for when I'm going for a nice comfy sweater, right? So those few inches, when you're doing up your gauge swatch, when you put that out into the entire pattern, it makes a huge difference. So that is definitely something to make sure that you are hitting your gauge perfectly, or as close as you can. That being said, any worsted weight, you should be able to hit it just fine. You might need to adjust your hook size, but yeah, so any worsted weight yarn, if you have any specific questions, you know, as far as yarn goes for this pattern, shoot me an email. You can hit the contact button on hearthookhome.com, or shoot an email to support@hearthookhome.com, and I will get you taken care of as soon as possible. So let's talk about the child sizes. My testers have already requested child sizes for this pattern, and what I love about offering child sizes as well as adult sizes, which I do for most of my wearable patterns, what I love to do, or why I love to do that, is because if you have a child in your life, and say that you are a little apprehensive about making a sweater for the first time. Say this is your first sweater you've ever done, or the first wearable you've ever made, and you're a little intimidated. I get it. I mean, I've been intimidated myself. I think everyone that crochets can be intimidated by a pattern. But that being said, I do feel like this is a confident, beginner-friendly pattern. I don't think it's super difficult at all. There are asterisks, there are brackets, there are parentheses in this pattern, but it's really not too difficult. I do also have a tutorial on Heart Hook Home that is for how to read a crochet pattern, and we go through an exact pattern that I already have on the blog, and we break it down into bite-sized pieces. If you still need help, that's totally fine. Shoot me an email and I'd be happy to help you. But I am thinking that the reason that I like to offer the child sizes, I'm going to start with this one, I think at 2-3T, and then work my way up to maybe a 12-14 youth, which should be one size down from the adult extra small, right? So if you have a child in your life that would wear this sweater, make one in the tiny size so that you get your feet wet, so that you understand the construction of the sweater, you understand the stitch, you understand how to make the armholes, how to construct the sleeves, how to join at the end of each row, and it's just a lot. I don't know, it helps to get your feet wet and calm any fears that you may have going into it. So I do hope to have those child sizes up within the next few weeks on Heart Hook Home, and as always, the child sizes will remain free, right? Yay. I do love that, because I feel like if I offer you that as a free pattern, get your feet wet, then move on to the adult size, and you're just a much more confident crocheter, and building that confidence and that sense of a, you know, accomplishment after you finish your first wearable or any wearable and you put it on and it fits and you feel good in it. It's just like, ah, I love that feeling, right? It's amazing. So let's get that feeling together. Let's make it happen, right? Okay, another thing that I wanted to talk about on my handy dandy list here is the stitch that I'm using. So the stitch that I'm using is called small triangles, which is really just a combination of half double crochet 2 together and a chain, half double crochet 2 together and a chain. So it's a 2-row repeat, and that is one of the rows where you half double crochet 2 together, chain, half double crochet 2 together, chain. Then on the next row, you're going to turn and come back the opposite direction, and all that row is single crochets and chains. And that's it. It's really pretty easy. And honestly, there aren't a whole lot of rows in this pattern either. For this size, I'm not positive, I need to look at the pattern again, but for this size, for the size medium, I think there's only 66 rows of the body. Like, that is not much at all. And it works up super fast. So this is definitely a pattern that you need to try, right? It's gonna be amazing. So let's see. We talked about yarn choices, we talked about small triangle stitch, we talked about the child sizes, which should be out in a few weeks. Let me go ahead and get off camera. I'm gonna put on this solid color one, and then I wanna talk to you about a different pattern that I have that I am reworking right now, which totally needs it. So I'm gonna change and I shall return shortly. So here we have the solid color using the Big Twist Olive in the worsted weight value yarn from Joann, and I absolutely love the way that this one worked out. So this is obviously a solid color, no color changing, no nothing, top down. This is how the pattern is written exactly for the size medium. We do have kind of a little bit of a boat neck here, just a little bit. Like I said, I don't like having my my collar right up on my neck. It just makes me feel really claustrophobic and really hot. It gets me really hot really easily. A couple of my testers did either add a single crochet row around the edge of the neck just to kind of tighten things up a little bit. One of my other testers, Leslie, used the stitch that we used on the cuff here, which is the front post back post ribbing. She did 3 rows of that around the neck to kind of bring hers in a little bit, and it looks absolutely amazing. I am so excited for the testers to share their pictures in the Heart Hook Home crochet community on Facebook. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Leanne, she made one with her 3 colors. Oh my gosh, they're gorgeous together. Very earthy tones. They're just beautiful. So this is definitely a sweater that I would wear literally anywhere, and I have already. This is one that I have just been wearing all over town. Let's show this just a little bit. I do want to note, as I said, this is my first draft of the pattern, the white one, the paprika, and the tide pool. This one is longer than this one right here. The sleeves are longer and the body is longer. But like I said, what's so wonderful about the top-down construction is that you start at the neck, you work your way down, and if you get down to here and you want to stop right at your waist, stop at your waist. I mean, that's up to you, hon. Try it on. If you like it there, stop, stop. If you don't, keep going. You can go as long as you want it to be. Your yardage will be different than the pattern if, potentially, but you can stop whenever. If you want a crop top, or if you've got, a teenager that really just loves the, the half shirts that they're selling right now in the stores, then go ahead and stop there. It's totally fine, right? If you wanted to make it into a sweater dress, make it into a sweater dress. So here is the solid color one, and I absolutely love the way that this looks, the way that it feels. It feels so good, looks nice. It's got that nice boat neck. I just absolutely love it, and I hope you do too. This works up so fast. Like I said, it's only like 66 rows, which is absolutely beautiful. It's lovely. I absolutely love it. So if you have any questions at all, be sure to shoot me an email, either Ashley, ASHLEA, at hearthookhome.com, or support@hearthookhome.com, and we will get you taken care of if you have any questions at all. I do want to mention, this pattern is debuting on Monday, January 3rd, 2022. I am going to be sending out an email to my email subscribers, if you're on the list, to let you know that the pattern has been published, as well as the coupon code that goes with it, right? So if you sign up for emails, you will get alerted when the pattern is published. I am going to offer 50% off for the first week, which I usually do, and this one is no different. I really want you guys to love this pattern because I love it so much and I want to share it with you. So it's going to be half price. You're going to want to use the code COLOR, all caps, just color for color block, right? And that will take half off through Sunday, which I believe is January 9th, 2022. So definitely do that. That will be available on Ravelry, on Etsy, and on the Heart Hook Home blog shop, right? So sign up for the email newsletter and you will get alerted when the pattern is published. Also, if you are new to the Heart Hook Home newsletter, email newsletter, after a few days you sign up, you get a welcome email that says, congratulations, you're on the list, welcome, and then just what to expect from the email newsletter. And then a few days later, you'll get a coupon code for any one of my patterns. So that's just another incentive to sign up. I don't advertise that, but I'm telling you now that even if you use the color one, you will still get the coupon for any other pattern that you want of mine. So definitely sign up for that. You get goodies in your email box about twice a week-ish. I usually do like a midweek email with just what I've been working on lately, something that's very short and sweet. And then on the weekends, I usually send an email that has more in-depth patterns or tutorials, or just whatever's going on in the world right now. We kind of tie it into the crochet aspect of it and go from there. So I try to make them fun and interesting, so I hope that you do enjoy them. Okay, now that we have talked about the color block sweater, I want to talk to you about a pattern that I created. It was my very first paid pattern I ever created. The very first one, I think it was in August or September of 2016. So we're coming up on 5.5 years ago. So that was my very first paid pattern. It's beautiful, but let's just say that it was the first, and I learned a lot since then, and I'm going to be updating that one. So today, in the real world, it is New Year's Eve, and I am home with my boys, and we're going to be watching movies and just hanging out and eating snacks and, waiting for the new year to come. I'm really excited about 2022, guys. I'm thinking that 2022 is going to be an amazing year. I know if you followed Heart Hook Home, you know that 2021 was a pretty turbulent year for me, so I'm pretty excited for a fresh beginning, a new start. And just to have, starting off on a new foot. I think all of us are ready to leave this year in the past, right? Anyway, so I'm going to be sitting here with my boys crocheting, and what I'm going to be doing is redoing my Dragon Tears gloves pattern. So this is the very first pattern I ever published as a paid pattern, or maybe one of the first ones ever. But it's my Dragon Tears glove, right? And they're absolutely gorgeous. I just love them so much. But the pattern itself, honey, it needs redone. It needs reworked. It needs reformatted. The pictures need to be updated. Like, it needs it bad. And this is a pattern that's been pretty popular over the past month or so on my Etsy shop, and it has to be. It really needs a facelift. So trust me when I say. But so I went to this yarn store with my best yarn friend the other day, and we found this yarn, and I about drooled in the yarn aisle, guys. It was literally like coming down the side of my face. But this is absolutely gorgeous. Isn't that gorgeous? I don't know if I'm going to start with the green and work up to the blue, or if I'm going to start with the blue and work up to the green, but I'm using one ball of yarn for each glove, so the left glove and the right glove, or vice versa, and I'm going to try to make them as uniform as possible. I absolutely love this. The pattern itself for the Dragon gloves only calls for about 300 yards total, so 150 yards per glove. These are, I think they're, let me take a look. These are 270 yards a piece. So if I only need 150 per glove, I'm thinking I'm either going to make the gloves longer, like make them go up a little bit, maybe to get some more of that color gradient, or yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to try to make them match as much as possible. So I'm going to be redoing that pattern. If you have purchased that pattern on Ravelry, you will get an update that says, "Ooh, the Dragon Scales gloves by Heart Hook Home has been updated. Come get your, come get your updated PDF." If you purchase it on Etsy, for some reason, which I do not like about the Etsy platform, I love Etsy in general, but what I don't like is that the PDF that you get is the version that was uploaded but at the time of your purchase. So if you bought these 3 years ago, the only PDF you're ever going to have access to is the one that you bought 3 years ago. So if I update it, it's only updated for people going forward. Does that make sense? Which I don't like it so much. I feel like, especially with patterns and PDFs, that when those are updated, I feel like it should be an updated version that you get as well. So my point is that if you purchase this pattern on Etsy or on the Heart Hook Home blog shop, shoot me an email. When I send out the alert, I'll do that via email as well. I'll say, oh my gosh, I've updated the Dragon Gloves pattern. Come get your updated version. If you purchased it on Etsy or on the Heart Hook Home blog shop, shoot me an email, respond to that email, say, hey, I need the updated version. I bought it on Etsy, blah, 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 right? So that is, something that to note. I don't know why they do it that way, but I mean, I do love Etsy. I do love me some handmade. And yeah, so this is going to be an absolutely beautiful way to work up these dragon gloves. I think I'm probably going to have the blue be the fingertips and the green be towards the elbow. I feel like that would be like a good mermaid, you know, vibe going on, and I feel like it would be really pretty. So that is what I'm going to be working on today while me and my boys hang out and eat snacks and, you know, watch movies, and we're going to have a movie night. It's just going to be pretty laid back. I am going to run to the store and get them some sparkling grape juice or sparkling cider or something so that we can toast the new year and say, please, let's bring some fresh air into the world, right? Like, let's start on a good note. Let's start 2022 going in positive. It's going to be amazing. We're going to rock it. It's going to be awesome. And I'm really excited. So thank you for watching, guys. And I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you going into 2022 with me on a positive note. And I am very much looking forward to all of the wonderful crochet things we are going to get into next year together. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time on the Heart at Home Video Crochet Podcast series.